We are back here on League on Lock. Mark and Eric here with you guys, and we've reached it. The top two on the power rankings. And I don't know if you've heard, but SK Telecom made a few roster changes in the offseason. About 4/5 of that starting lineup, brand new in 2019. The hype is at an all-time high, even though they had a disappointing end to the Kespa Cup at the hands of Damwon Gaming and everyone. Oh my God, this roster's overrated. Blow it up. It's not going to work, Mark.
I think
it's not going to work.
Let's be a little bit calm here. I know that that's strange things for esports, everything being a little bit rational here and waiting for it. But I'm telling you what, this is the SKT All-Star lineup, and they will have to be number 2 in our power rankings heading into 2019 LCK splits.
Yeah, they didn't quite get that top spot, and that's just because even coming into Kespa, they'd only actually practiced together for a couple of weeks. And by the way, the spring split's only a couple of weeks after that, so they still haven't had that much time to kind of find their team identity, develop synergy. And like I said, these guys have never played together. No combination of them have played together before, and 4/5 of them are brand new coming into this roster. Faker himself has never seen an overturn that big in one offseason.
Well, that's the important thing here is, of course, the mainstay that is staying with SKT, re-signing this year, was Faker, having to take care of business, keeping your golden cash cow in that mid lane. Good job, SKT. But the important thing here, of course, is that, yeah, you've got 4 new players for Faker to deal with after the mishaps of last year, getting him this all-star stacked up lineup. This is SKT saying, Mr. Faker, you wanted this team, you wanted to have that world championship squad, here you go. Let's see what you got here for us. Picking up Khan in the top lane, Klid and Haru as the junglers there. I think that'll be an excellent system to work through, which one you're gonna want in certain situations. Faker, of course, in the mid lane. And then, hey, my boy Teddy finally getting on a good team here and joining up with the god himself, Mata, in the bottom side.
And if we're going to overreact when they lose at Kespa, then we've got to be excited about the games they win and actually look solid in.
Of course.
APK Prince, that was, a nothing. I don't want to say nothing because the challenger scene in Korea is actually quite good and pretty
developed. Heck of a lot better than our challenger scene, but let's just say it's still a challenger scene, guys.
And one best of, and even though they lost to Damwon, even in Game 3, they were steamrolling that game, probably should have won that game and win it 8 out of 10 times or something like that, except for this big misplay here. But SKT overall looked leaps and bounds better than almost any point throughout all of 2018.
Oh, instantly look better than the 2018 version of SKT that we had been seeing here. And I think when you do look at that loss to Damwon Gaming, it's in part, yes, Damwon is for real. They are a team that should be able to contend here in the LCK 2019. But the important thing to really remember here, again, is just how little time that this squad has played together. Some of these little issues that arise like that and can unfold and unravel into those mistakes that you see in that Game 3 against Damwon Gaming will certainly be ironed out, knowing the practice schedules, knowing the structure that is within the SKT organization. These type of mistakes, these type of things will not be happening given the practice times that these guys will have together, and that makes me so excited for the final product that we're going to get from SKT in 2019.
They also have an entirely new coaching staff that they've brought in alongside Coma, so who knows what tendencies they favor. The guys from the Afrika Freaks coming over, Zephyr and Fly, so it's about them implementing how they want a team to run, again with all these new players, and defining each player's role within the game more so than just top laner or bot laner. So still plenty of kinks to figure out for SKT, but on paper, and you can expect as the spring split plays out and heading into summer, this is going to be one of, if not the best teams in Korea, probably the world too.
Yeah, it has to be here for what you've assembled. And I think another important thing to remember with this roster is that other than Faker, these members have something to prove here by joining SKT and have to prove their performance here on this lineup. Khan has been probably weaker than we've ever seen him before in the past year. I think he really does need this opportunity to prove himself as that dominating top lane threat here in the LCK, that you got to run through Khan in order to be here in the top side. And I think that'll be important for him. And as well, Klid in the jungle, coming from the LPL, had a fantastic split there, really found that aggression, that dominance, but needs to be able to show it at the LCK level now people are questioning if he's really up to the task, haven't been watching the LPL quite enough, because if you've seen this guy play last year, you know he's the real deal.
Yeah, the two biggest question marks are definitely Khan and Klid, because really the other guys have just been so stable throughout their careers. Teddy was carrying Jin Air to wins that they should not have been getting. Faker is Faker, even though, 2018 was probably his worst year we've seen professionally. A lot of that was just that roster. But Klid, you talked about him, he did dominate on JDG, even though those numbers don't really do it justice. And by the way, keep in mind, there's about 300 junglers that qualify for stats in the LPL. They play so many games, so many different guys get looks. But he showed up in the biggest games for JDG against the likes of Invictus and RNG. He was going toe-to-toe with the very best and was constantly getting early leads for that team.
Right, and there's so much to the jungler position that is so intense and specific to that role. But when you're talking about junglers here and you're talking about how you're going to get excited for a guy and whether he seems to be the real deal, go and watch these highlights for Klid from the past year. It will pass the eyeball test, no doubt. This guy has the mechanics, he's got the aggression, got the skill here. And again, this is all where it comes down to SKT practicing together, getting that synergy down, because all of these guys more than have the skill to make this the SKT super team that we are hyping it up to be.
And he had the benefit of having usually at least going even or winning lanes with the likes of Zoom and Yagao on JDG, while he should have that again with this SKT lineup, maybe even more so if Khan can get close to that 2017 version of himself that we saw.
Yeah, and hey, this is all this great talk about SKT and the strengths and the win conditions that they can find with this roster, and we haven't even talked about the bottom side here. Of course, picking up Steady Teddy from Jin Air. Oh man, love him. Gotta say, the only sad thing here, not gonna be getting those glad playing Teddy JPG gifts there if they're winning this time. We'll just get a smiling face from Teddy on SKT, the championship team here.
Yeah, they might follow him around, Photoshop an SKT logo.
I'd be okay with that big time. And then the other addition, of course, is the legend Mata coming in here on the side there to help out Teddy. If you could have picked any support to have, if you're bringing in someone new like Teddy here to SKT, finally to step up in this big organization, someone like Mata to help him out there has to be the #1 pick.
And we already saw, again, to take from the Kespa Cup, Teddy looked pretty darn good in most of the games for SKT, even when they were losing. Some of them were just absolutely dominant. You can tell he just looks happier when he's playing. There were some games on Jin Air that they were losing. He did not look like a happy camper, but now he must just feel so wonderful on SKT.
It's fantastic, and even on SKT, Mr. Faker is willing to give up, and this is crazy, willing to give up some of that CS to help out Teddy's numbers there. That's how you know Teddy's a real deal carry.
What a great teammate, Faker over there. But SKT, a lot of hype. We'll see if they can deliver in 2019.